Hi there everyone, it's me, and welcome to my first ever live feed on Facebook. I can't lie, totally nervous, but it's okay, it's good, it's all gonna go. Just to kind of let you know, really, I'm doing this from my house, so pretty much, anything and everything could go wrong. Hopefully no power outage. Hopefully my dog's not going to bark, but he's safely tucked away with my husband at the moment, so he's normally Mr. Darcy. He always the one that makes the noise, or my cat, or one of my cats. So that's some information about me. I've got a husband, cat, I've got a son as well, but he's also tucked away. They've been banned from coming into this room. Anyway, welcome to my live feed, and welcome to my page. If you're new to knowing anything about me, I'm Bella, the Secret Psychic, and this is my page, so do like it. And today I'm going to be talking about manifestation, law of attraction, and primarily I'm going to be giving you a quick manifesting technique. Also, as we go along, I've got another feed just above this computer so that I can see your comments. So do comment, do like, do say something, do interact. So if you've got a good manifesting technique, then share it with everybody, because it's about abundance, it's about growth. If you've got a question, if I can answer it, I will. If you're watching the repeat of this as well, still feel free to comment, because I will be interacting with people afterwards as well. So super excited. I've also got another screen just here to my side, so if you see me kind of looking around, it's because I'm just making sure that all the magic here works well, and I kind of really hope it is working well now, because I have no idea if it is or not. I'll find out in about 20 odd minutes when I finish this talk today. So firstly, probably just to say, this live stream won't be for you. It won't definitely be for you if this kind of spirituality thing is not for you. But it is for you if you're curious, you've heard about the law of attraction and manifestation, and you kind of want to figure it out, you kind of want to learn about it, then this is definitely 100% for you. It's also the evening here in the UK, and the light is going down and down, so again, hopefully I'm going to stay in focus while I'm live to you all as well. So do comment, do like, do everything. I'm just going to take away this magical banner so you can see me fully. It's cool, isn't it? Maybe next time or later I'll put some more sort of banners on. So this topic today, I'm going to talk about a quick tip, but before we do that, basically you've got to lay the foundations. You've got to understand the law of attraction in order for you to kind of really truly understand how all of this kind of stuff works. If you don't understand the principles behind it, then your attempts at trying to do manifesting anything you want in your life, and creating abundance in your life, is not going to work if you don't understand how it works. So I'm pretty much going to talk about that with you. So what can I say to you? It's like I'm going to put a slide up, because it's kind of like two principles or two steps that you kind of have to understand when it comes to the law of attraction. And really, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to sort of talk about the foundations. And again, as we go along, if you've got any comments, just you say as we go along. So just bear with me as I just switch screens. Also, just think about, if you've tried to do manifesting before, what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. If it has worked for you, please share your stories, because it's going to be so encouraging for other people. This is what my community, my group, my Facebook page is about creating growth, wisdom and strength. It's about us all together becoming more awakened, more enlightened, and then therefore together create an abundance for everybody. I'm a bit positive like that, hippie within me. But anyway, just bear with me while I do some more magical trickery, and I flip to my other screen so that we can talk about the first kind of two steps, two principles about understanding the law of attraction. Okay? Okay, so everything is vibration. That's the first step. The first concept I kind of want you to kind of wrap your head around is the understanding or understanding, I should say, the fundamental law of the universe, the law of vibration. Every single thing, from the largest star and planet in space, all the way down to the tiniest grain of sand, is in a constant state of vibration. This can kind of be difficult to believe, as everything around us seems to be so solid. If everything is vibration, let's say, why can't I put my hand through, my computer, for example? The answer to that is kind of found within the terms of frequency and arrangement. So, like this, your brain is like so smart that it has taken the vibrations kind of all around you and learned kind of how to translate it into reality in a way so that you can't even recognize its vibration. Kind of think about it. What are colours, for example? What are the colours that you perceive? If you've studied kind of, let's say, any science, then you know that colour is kind of just a vibration at a particular frequency. What are the sounds that you hear? Pretty much they are nothing more than the vibrations that your brain has translated in order to make sense out of it. I hope I'm making sense. From this kind of knowledge, let's say, it can be stated really that your entire reality, in quotes, is kind of all in your head. There's kind of nothing out there, even though it seems like it is. It's the case, really, let's say, of a kind of popular question that I've had many discussions about. If a tree falls in a forest and nobody is there to hear it fall, does it actually make a sound? Can I think about that? The idea is that you cannot experience your reality without actively perceiving it, and this is the kind of fundamental basis, let's say, or my interpretation, or many people's interpretation, of the law kind of attraction. Even after you have proof, let's say, that everything around you is vibration, why is it still hard for us as people to kind of grasp this kind of on an emotional level? Logically, accepting the truth is much different than actually believing this truth and then applying it to your life. Stay with me, alright? It will all make sense, hopefully. In order to begin consciously creating your reality, you need to begin believing that everything is vibration. Take some time out of your day and just sit and just attempt to visualize the vibrational nature of everything around you. Quieten your mind and really feel the vibration of the sounds and the air around you. Suspend any doubt you may have for just maybe a few minutes. Give it a go one day. I think you'd be surprised. The second step is like attracts like, and most of you must have heard about that. This second concept to grasp is that the fundamental principle of the law of vibration is that vibration of a similar frequency is kind of drawn together. If you think about, let's say, two droplets of water that are kind of slowly moving towards each other, what happens as they get closer? They eventually get close enough that they attract each other and become one droplet of water instead of two separate ones, if I'm making sense. This occurs because they are of a like vibration. Now, if you think about the same kind of phenomena with a droplet of water and now with a droplet of oil, no matter how close you put them together, they will not become one with each other. This is because their vibrations are too different from one another. This is kind of the idea that the law of attraction is sort of based on in my very crude example. If you want to bring about something in your life, regardless of what it is, begin vibrating at the level that is the same as your desired reality. If you think about that, that's quite a huge deal. If everything is vibration, and if vibration of a similar frequencies are drawn together, then you have the ability to control your vibration. Then you can most certainly control the conditions of your life. The problem that I find sometimes comes about whenever we attempt to kind of control our reality without first adjusting our vibrations. No amount of physical manipulation will create the world that we wish to see. All of the work is done kind of on the inside of our minds. This means that no matter the amount of action, let's say, alone will produce the same results that we desire. However, once we've gained the ability, let's say, to control our minds to our desired frequency of vibration, then our physical reality quickly follows suit and then kind of reflects back to us our new vibration. Watch this video again and maybe again, just to kind of take some time to deeply think about that kind of idea and to see if they don't kind of make sense to both your logical side and your emotional side. If you think long and hard, you will come to the same conclusion pretty much as most of the greatest kind of leaders or spiritual leaders of humanity, whatever faith that is, have all come to pass, is that basically we create our own reality. So it's kind of cool stuff really, isn't it? And again, if you've got questions, I can see loads of hi Stacey, how are you? And hello Southwick, handyman. And anybody else, do comment, don't be shy, say hello. Thanks for all the love so far. I really appreciate it as well. So do listen to that again, and obviously this will stay on my feed, so you can listen to this over and over again. And I'm going to talk about a quick, easy manifesting technique. It's kind of like a foundation setting for really simple things. And then the more you kind of join in with these kind of conversations, and there's ways to expand on that to really sort of gain bigger things from that. But once you understand the foundations, and that's why I wanted to kind of talk about that in a bit more detail in a way that hopefully you kind of can grasp, was a way to do it. And I guess some examples to kind of use. If you think about if you're doing, to say you're in sales or something, or you've got a project, and you're kind of reliant on somebody else also participating in the kind of success or the win of that. You might get so far, put in loads of hard work, get all the way to the end, of that sale, let's say, only for that person to pull out. And you might have said to yourself, in terms of manifesting something, that by doing really well in sales and achieving your targets, that's going to equate to you being able to buy a car, for instance, and you've been using techniques, so you've been doing really good, but it's not quite been working out for you. And then this other individual comes and kind of blows it for you. Now you could create doubt in your mind because of that, and you could then tell yourself over and over and over that all that hard work was for nothing, and there's no point you doing pushing through another sale, because it's only going to lead to failure and you're never going to have that car. That's kind of the wrong attitude to have. In a way, you've got to kind of have that kind of very positive mental attitude where you kind of see that person and their vibration as not necessarily meeting up with yours, and they're on a different path. But if you remain in your belief space that actually that's okay, that didn't work out, but I'm going to plod on anyway, then you're going to have 10 successes, get that car out of the one you didn't. Whereas if you keep that mindset, then the next person you'll fail with, and the next person you fail with, and maybe you'll get one, so you feel a bit okay with life, but then you're still struggling. It's hard work, and it's just about shifting your thought processes. And people who work with me all the time, probably get bored of me saying to them, change your thoughts, be careful what you think about, because it's so true. It really is. And when you think about being a child, before like 5 or 6, you don't have what I call critical thinking. You don't have an ego that is telling you, don't do this because you'll get hurt, or don't do this because it won't work out, because you've not had the experiences yet to kind of inform those inner critical thinking. You haven't had the ability to form that ego. When you're a child, you can run around freely, everything is open to you, everything is at your fingertips mostly. But then your parents will condition you, experiences will condition you to kind of let your inner critic hold you back. And that's why lots of people aren't born awakened. They end up arriving to it at some point because of experiences that have happened to them. And again, most people come to me because of love. It's one of the biggest topics that most people come to me about. And finding that they're not having the success, let's say, in relationships, they're repeating the same cycle and patterns. And trust me, I've been there, really have. And from my own experiences, once I understood about spirituality and my own gifts, but also just understanding about the law of attraction and manifestation, completely changed my world to the point where I have an awesome husband, Heathen. He's watching the stream, I'm sure. But if I didn't think and change my thought patterns from basically telling myself, which I think a lot of you will understand, which is I'm unlovable, it always ends the same way, it's I'm never going to have X, Y and Z. I went into relationships believing that and thinking that, and so it came true every single time. And when I released it, when I let it go, and I started to believe a different way, I can promise you, on the day I decided to do that and let go of people that were hurtful and harmful to me, it's the day I met my husband. 7 years now we've been together, and hopefully going strong. I still got to learn to manifest him picking up his clothes from the floor, but we can't, one thing at a time, eh? Anyway, so there's my ramblings. Thank you. Stacey says, very cool stuff, Bella. Thanks for taking the time to help and understand. That's cool. I'm glad that it's sinking in a little bit. So now what I want to do is I want to just move on now to my technique that is one of the techniques I use, but it's like a quick one to kind of help you to kind of change your thought patterns and to kind of start to matching vibrations as you go forward. So again, I've got another screen that I'm going to move to as I talk over it, so that you can see kind of like what I call 5 steps to kickstarting manifestation. And really do try it, because I promise you it will work, and I'm going to give you some examples at the end as well. So let me do my magical trickery. Okay, so this is a technique that is to do really before you go to sleep, and the reason why I ask you to do it kind of before you go to sleep, because pretty much that's the time when most of us, pretty much all of us, will use that space to go through our worries, go through our day. If there's anything big going on in our life that we've been desiring and we don't see it happening, that's when we kind of mull it over. And it's pretty much the time when we let our fears play out quite a lot. But pretty much what most people don't realise is you're sealing your vibration, you're sealing your intent for the next day, but also for your future in that space just before you go into the dream world. And then you seal it up at a subconscious level. Your brain will start to look for things that match that feeling, that belief that you have been carrying in that space. So that's why this is a good place to start to do a good sort of changing your vibration at that level. When you start to use that space for positivity and to think and believe in what it is you desire, then you seal up that intent in a much more positive way, and will program your brain to start looking for vibrations that meet that, if that makes sense. Like I said, if it doesn't, just watch this replay several times. So step 1, which you kind of need to do before you go to sleep, so when you've got time, write down your wants, like 1 or 2, don't go crazy at this stage, just one or two, doesn't matter if they're big, but write down your wants. But just don't write down things like you know, I want love or I want money. You need to be a lot more creative about the description, because you might want love but you might attract bad love. So be clear, you know, even if it's a page long, just be clear about what it is that you want and be descriptive. So once you've done that preparation kind of work, now you're ready to get to bed. You know, just before you get into bed, or you're in bed, you know, take what you've written down, and you know, if you feel comfortable, whether you're alone or not, say it out loud. If you can't say it out loud, just read it in your head, but be like, really read it. But as you're reading it, and just before you read it, I should say, ask your guide and say, this is what I want to achieve, guides, do help me to get there. Because I always say to people, whenever you ask your guides, because we all have them, and that's a subject for another day, they always help you to get what you want. And they will also help you with that vibration. So do ask your guides and then read your description just before you go to sleep. Step 3. Now we need to get you into, let's say, the best kind of state. So close your eyes, and I just want you to just breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. Just do that for a few times. Just, you know, notice the air going up your nose and coming out your mouth, and just relax. And as you're breathing like that, I want you to kind of look up into the middle of your forehead. And sometimes for some people they might see a bit of a light, like a white light. It could be any kind of light, but just look up. That's kind of where your third eye is. And just continue to breathe in and out. And then as you do that, everything you've just read and your wants, just start to visualize. Visualize what that would be like. Start to really feel how that would make you feel. You know, is there any sounds? Is there anything you can touch? Really, really get, again, creative, but really feel it, like feel how you would feel having that. And then start to believe as that feeling intensifies. And don't feel guilty about what it is that you want. Just feel, just like really, really start to feel it. And then when you really get to a place where it's just, you know, overwhelming, and you can do this for 4 or 5 minutes, it doesn't take very long. Once you've got that image and it's vivid and it makes you feel pretty darn awesome, I have to say, then you just need to say to yourself, or say it loud, so it is done. So it is done. Step 4. You need to believe. So while you're doing this, or even after you've done this, just check yourself out. Is there still an inner critic saying, yeah, you've done that, it's probably not going to work, or, you know, anything like that? If you still got that, then you need to do it again. You need to go back to that feeling of joy and knowing, until you don't have that inner critic in your voice just before you go to sleep. As you do this every night, basically your inner critic will turn off, because basically your inner critic at a subconscious level and cognitively has been programmed to do that for so long now, because of the way we've all been socially conditioned. So as you retrain your thoughts to attract the right kind of vibrations, that inner critic will die down. So once you're back to that joy and you believe still, then I want you to think of 3 things that you're grateful for in your life. And they could be anything at all. You're grateful that you've still got hot water. You're grateful for someone smiling at you today. It can be anything you want. Do it 3 times, and every day choose something different. Try to think about something that's happened in your day. Again, you're retraining your brain to look and receive positive, and to squash that inner critic. If you do this every night, then you need to do something now when you're awake, let's say in your everyday, is to just live in the present firstly, and not live in the past, or not live in the future, but live in the present. Because if you don't live in the present, you won't notice the signs that are matching the path of least resistance. So you do need to live in the present, but look for signs that your guides will be helping you with, but the signs that the universe and the vibrations that your brain is going to be attracting will start to come to you. You know, you'll notice and you'll recognize these signs, these cues, because they will vibrationally feel good and they will get you excited, even if it feels like it's a really bold step or you don't really quite know where it's leading you. It will feel vibrationally good, and if it feels good, then you are on the right path of least resistance towards your wants and your manifestations. If it doesn't feel good and it doesn't get you excited and it feels bad and you feel resistance to it and it's bringing that inner critic in, then it's not the right path to what it is that you've asked for. Your guides will also show you cues, which again is another subject for another day, but you just feel aligned to it because you feel good. So I kind of hope that those steps make sense to you, but that's my technique and it does work, and I'm going to sort of give you some examples, so hold on as I switch screens again. Hi, so I'm going to kind of now give you some examples really of things recently that I've done where I've used this particular technique. So my husband, I should say, he turned 40. Oops, sorry, I wasn't supposed to tell the world that because he still believes he's 25. But he did turn a certain special number recently, and I kind of wanted to take him away, but let's just say I didn't necessarily have the means to take him away in the way that I would have liked to have taken him away. So I used this technique, and pretty much because I do it so often, it happens quite quickly for me. Because I don't have that many wants, if I'm being truthful with you. But on this occasion I did, and when I did the technique and I just carried on and lived in the present and everything like that, pretty much 2 days later I got a check from the Inland Revenue, which is like the IRS, the tax people here in the UK, for backdated tax that I was owed from the year before. So that was awesome. I ended up taking my husband away. We had a really good time. And so that was a really quick thing, but no, slightly maybe a little bit bigger. Before I did this, and before I did my work on my website, thesecretpsychic.co.uk, and my work that I do also on Purple, I used to be one of those, well, firstly I used to actually work in the corporate sector, but that's another story for another time. And I used to do this part-time. And then when I found myself doing this full-time, because of a calling, let's say, I was one of those ones that was stuck on one of those phone lines, and as great as it was to help people that way, it was quite soul destroying as well, because you have to spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing that kind of work, and you're not paid very well. So I kind of again did that technique, but I also just sent it out to the universe. I said, I kind of want to do this work, I love doing this work, I love helping people, but I kind of have an ambition firstly that I'd love to live and tour the world and be able to work wherever I want from the world, in the world. So I don't really want to be tied to one location because of work. But also I just wanted to have a bit more meaning and to not be kind of stuck, let's say 8-9 hours a day on the phone lines. So I created my website, created my Facebook page, and then stumbled across Purple, and then kind of the rest is history, because basically now I can work from anywhere I want to in the world. If I want to work in New York, I can work in New York. If I want to work in New Zealand, I can work in New Zealand. It doesn't stop me from still communicating and contacting all of my clients. So I created again my own abundance. I'm giving you these kind of small examples, and I could go on, I've got a whole bunch of them, just to kind of demonstrate that technique does work. And there are other ones that work even better, but that one works really, really well. So I hope it was clear and that you understood as well. So pretty much that was short and sweet, my first live feed, while I still have my legs and they haven't gone from beneath my feet. I'm gonna be wrapping this up now, but I really do thank you all for coming and watching me live, but also if you're watching a repeat, I really thank you for watching it. Again, if you liked what you saw and you want to see more of these kind of videos, do like my page, Also, if you, let's say, aren't the most creative, or you might think to yourself, I'm going to struggle with understanding the specifics, let's say, in writing out my wants and desires, then after this video I'm going to be posting my email, so that you can email me and I will send you a free intention setting sort of worksheet, so that it will help you to write down as well. And then much later, if people are really, really interested in, let's say, knowing how to quieten your mind and meditate and stuff like that, then I will have a longer hour audio that will become available. And you can also just email me to be put on the waiting list for that as well. So this is going to wrap up, so I'm just going to check that I've not missed anything out. Do share this video if you really, really liked it. I really, really appreciate it. If you want to become one of my bells, like I said, just join this site. And one of my clients very recently, and it's on my Facebook page, The Secret Psychic, put on, they put on a quote which I use, which is from Bob Proctor, and it basically said, you know, that you can either live in fear or you can live with hope. I think I'm saying this wrong. So you can either both love or, I'm going to start again. Told you I was doing so well. Basically, love and fear require you to have faith that you can't see. So you've got to choose which one you want to have. Let's think about it. So I hope you've enjoyed today. I've managed to get mostly through this without fluffing until the end. Yay! And on that note, I'm going to say a good night or good evening from here in the UK. Mwah! Love and light, dears.